Alert! We now have the official Commander Bracket beta. We are in the beta.
Beta.
I am your honorable sensei, and across from me,
the vicious bracket scumbag.
And together we are Longturnlarry Podcast. Before we get into this bracket nonsense, let me get a like, comment, and please subscribe so you get more Commander information, deck text nonsense from us.
All things magic, and considering how good we are at it, just kidding, you'll love our back and forth. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know how you're feeling. Larry's.
Ring that noti bell.
Ooh. How do y'all feel about the Commander brackets? This is brand new. This is coming to you February 11th. This is the first thing that Magic's released. So enjoy while we take a look at this and see what Wizards is doing.
Just to note, I do want to say this is set as a beta. So I think this is just like the working model for now. Things can definitely change, and they probably will. Don't get too mad if you're not satisfied with what they're presenting. And of course, they also want to note, you don't have to do any of this.
Yeah, this is like a rule zero kind of thing. There's nothing saying that this bracket is some type of sponsored or judged event. This is just, you show up to a local game store, you sit down, and you say to the person, my deck is a 2. And it helps you easier to find players who are playing with 2s or have a 2 with them. Also, you're going to hear the word mass land denial a lot.
Please don't blow my lands.
Oh, please. So, Larry's, if you'd like to follow along, you can go to, at the moment of recording, you can go to Wizards' official site. You can go to Magic the Gathering, and you can pull up the Commander Brackets overview. All the stuff we're covering is going to be there. We're just kind of bringing it to you to make it a little easier.
Okay, so the Commander Bracket overview. There are 5 Commander Brackets. Each one is meant to classify a different kind of game experience. Brackets 1, 2, and 3 are different levels of socially focused play. Brackets 4 and 5 are focused on higher power and even a competitive experience. In each bracket description, you will also find guidance around 4 kind of effects that can really impact the game. 2-card infinite combos, extra turns, mass land destruction, and tutors are the things that they're looking at. For a little bit of additional definition around mass land denial, this category of card that most Commander players find frustrating, so they want to emphasize it in brackets 1 through 3. These cards regularly destroy, exile, bounce lands, keep lands tapped, or change what mana is produced by 4 or more players per player without replacing them. Examples are Armageddon, Ruination, blah, 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 blah.
Also, when you look at these brackets, you'll see that they are added on or removing from each other. So, perfect example, 1 going into 2 takes from what 1 had into 2 and then into 3. You'll see they stack or remove them as pieces progress.
Okay, so let's start with 1.
Exhibition. I think this is, I don't know how honorable.
Just read it. We'll get to how we feel.
All right. So Exhibition is technically listed as throw down with your ultra casual Commander deck. Winning is not the primary goal. It's more about showing off something unusual. The examples are giving are villains yelling in the art. Everything has the number 4, or oops, all horses. Do I really believe that this one is a thing? No. So, Exhibition is showing as no mass land denial or extra turn spells, no 2-card infinite combos, no game changers. We'll get into that here. And checkmarked, it's okay, a few tutors. Now, a few, I'm assuming, is saying like 1 or 2. They're not specifying, but we all can kind of gather a few is just a couple. It's not a lot of tutors.
Man, I got 9 tutors, but all my cards suck.
Honorable. What is the 2?
Bracket number 2. May not have every perfect card for their archetype. They have the potential for big splashy turns, strong engines, and are built in a way that works towards winning the game, while the game is unlikely to end out of nowhere and goes on for 9 or more turns. You can expect very big swings. The deck usually has some cards that aren't perfect for the gameplay perspective, but are there for maybe like flavor or just, oh, this is my favorite card. Cool. No cards from the Game Changer list can be on here. No intentional 2-card infinite combos. Keyword intentional.
So dumb.
Mass land denial, extra turn chaining should be in low quantities and definitely cannot be chained. In succession or looped. Tutors should be sparse.
You're going to see it's pretty much listing everything is roughly the same. They just are saying, hey, instead of there being no extra turns, just don't chain extra turns. And then, maybe a little more tutors. They're saying this is the average current pre-con. Yo, Wizards, you need...
No, I think they're correct on that.
Wizards need to chill.
I think you need to chill. You're getting all feisty.
I hate this. I love to hate this.
Chill out. We're not even done yet.
I know. Next is bracket 3. They're calling this upgraded. So in this, they're saying these are decks that are souped up and ready to play beyond the strength of an average precon. So the way they're looking at this is you took a precon or you carefully made the deck is how they're saying this. So there's not anything here that's standing out except for the deck should not have any 2-card infinites is still resounding here. But they're saying it can't happen cheaply or in about the first 6 or so turns of the game. So what they're pretty much showing here is it's stronger than the way that your Edgar Markov came out of the box and that you're upgrading it. And then you can have up to 3 cards from the Game Changer list. So you took your Edgar Markov and you upgraded it with a couple of cards. They're talking, this is a low amount of upgrades. And they don't want anything to be super fast mana. So again, you see no mass land denial, no chaining of extra turns, except now we're kind of cool with 2-card infinites if it's in the late game. And then up to 3 Game Changers, which we'll cover here.
Optimize. It's time to go wild. Bring out your strongest decks and cards. Woo. You can expect to see explosive starts, tutors, street combos. That in the game, mass land destruction, deck full of Game Changers. This is high-powered commander, and games potentially can end quickly. The focus here is to bring the best version of your deck, and you want to play, but not build around a tournament meta. It's about shuffling up your strong and fully optimized decks, whatever it may be, and seeing how it fares. For most commander players, these are high-power commander decks you interact with. Deck building, there are no restrictions outside the ban list.
I know. I can feel it.
Just go.
I'm so spicy. And then we have CEDH. This is bracket 5, the elusive and illustrious CEDH, the most powerful acronym ever known to man. This is the high power with a very competitive and meta game focused mindset. Mindset is a key part of that description. Much of it is in how you approach the format and deck building. It's not just no holds barred, but where you play your most powerful cards, like in bracket 4, requires careful planning. CDH, or competitive commander and similar names, is where winning matters more than self-expression. You might not be playing your favorite cards, or your pet cards are usually replaced with the cards that are needed in the meta. This is more talking about what we call best in slot, or just, we're talking about efficiency over flavor. This is just plain and simple. You're playing what is currently the strongest, fastest way to, completely annihilate your opponents. This also has the no restrictions other than the regular ban list, which is, of course, we're already used to this. There's technically not a difference between 4 and 5 from a rule standpoint, at least in this bracket system. And that brings us to these game
changer. Ding, ding, ding. It's over. He counted the 3 count. He's dead.
1.
You got to peel him off
2,
the pavement.
3.
His brains is on the wall. All right, so our white game changers are Draneth Magistrate, Enlightened Tutor, Sarah Sanctum, Smothering Tithe, and Trouble in Pairs. Our blue game changers, Cyclonic Rift, Expropriate, Force of Will, Fierce, Guardianship, Rhystic Study, Thassa's Oracle, Urza, Lord High Artificer, Mystical Tutor, and Jin-Gitaxias Core Augur.
Ooh, the OG boy. And the black, we have Bolas Citadel, Demonic Tutor, Imperial Seal, Opposition Agent, Turgrid, God of Fright, Vampiric Tutor, and Ad Nauseam. Red is very small, with only Jezka's Will and Underworld Breach.
Green, Survival of the Fittest. Vorn Klex, Voice of Hunger. It's so hard not to say cornflakes.
I know, I was about to say cornflakes.
Gaia's Cradle. Multicolor is Kinnan, Bondar's Prodigy, Yuriko, Tiger's Shadow, Winota, Joiner of Forces, and Grand Arbiter Augustine the Fourth.
And everyone's favorite, colorless. Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, The One Ring, The Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale, Trinisphere, Grim Monolith, Lion's Eye Diamond, Mox Diamond, Mana Vault, and Glacial Chasm. These cards, what are they considered, or what are they calling a game changer? What does that mean?
Game changers. What does it say? What does it say? You saw several mentions of the list below. Game changers dramatically warp commander games, allowing players to run away with resources, shift games in a way that players dislike, block people from play, efficiently search for their strongest cards, or have commanders that tend to take away from more casual games. And unlike some previous systems that were discussed, it's only a single edition list to track. In addition to the function, you can imagine this as a sort of watch list. Any future bans are likely to come from this list, save for maybe something that shows up in a new set and immediately causes problems like Nadu. Similarly, unbanned cards are likely to end up here. This creates a knife half step between the ban lists and showing up everywhere. Also really helps ensure that you know what cards we have our eyes on, so cards won't feel like they got banned out of nowhere for the future. It also gives us a tool to unban cards to try them or nudge around cards without a ban needed. If a card shows up and is frustration at casual tables, but fine in competitive player tables, we can add it to the Game Changers list to update it to get it in the right place. Similarly, if times or opinions change and a card on the list looks fine in casual play, we can take it off. It's not unlike how Canadian Highlander adjusts point values every now and then. To be clear, most of these cards are unlikely to be banned. You shouldn't go trading away your Gaia's Cradle in concern. Thank you. However, it's a clear signal for players to know that these cards indicate a different kind of play and others might prefer not to play against them.
So, I mean, they're going to cover the cards that they're wanting to put out here. That's the game changer list. So, again, Larry's, this is all kind of in beta. So, this is the Rule Zero beginning.
This is the new standard. This is the gold standard.
Yeah, to make it easier for you to be like, hey, I'm new. I don't know you. I don't know what you're playing. My Edgar Markov deck is a 4. Should I be playing it with you at this, like right now? And they're like, no, my girlfriend is just now playing Magic. So she's playing a 2. So unless you're okay with playing 4s on 2s, you shouldn't play that. That's the point, I guess, of this. And then I do like the ban list. So I guess let me ask, Honorable, how do you feel?
Okay. So I do like the structure. I like the bracket system, and I like game changers.
I do as well.
Do I like the way this is formatted now? I do not. Let's sort of get into my issues with the bracket list.
Yeah.
So I think my number one issue, and I think the core objective for the bracket, everybody being a 7, they did split it between upgraded and optimized. My issue is that everybody is going to be a 4. There's not going to be as many people who are 4s, because some people do play at 3, but most people are going to be at 4s. What I would like to see is there's a difference between being optimized and playing high power commander.
Yes.
And even CDH players understand the difference between a deck that is CEDH and that is high power casual. I don't understand why we don't have a bracket specifically for those people.
Me and Honorable were talking about this when we first saw it. And Larry's, we're trying to bring this to you as quick as possible. So this is like fresh in the pan.
This is like 30 minutes in.
Yeah, like we are responding to this as soon as possible. So apologies that we don't have as much research on it as we can. But when we were talking about this, exhibition and core almost feel like they could have been just one. Because we were talking about like, yes, okay, we get it. The deck you're building is oops, all horses, right? But you're still building it to play it so that you can have it not just fun, that it has to work a little bit, right? Like, I get the whole concept of I'm not playing to quote unquote win, but you can't say it's not, you didn't have any thought. Like, you couldn't have just been like, oops, all horses, and then just put 50 lands in it. And then, you know what I mean? Like, I doubt people are ever building like that. Like, even if it is a gimmick deck and every art card has the character looking away from you, like, I feel like you would still pick cards that make sense because there's going to be enough of them that you wouldn't just, oh, that card, he's not looking at me, I'm gonna run that. Like, exhibition feels so weak that it doesn't exist, and 2 feels like this was an upgrade from you trolling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you're trolling me.
Essentially, 1 is like
a troll.
Like, I threw a whole bunch of like draft cards together and I called it a deck. I don't think a player who is playing exhibition would be unwilling. This is a note. Unwilling to play against the precon.
Yes. Like, and then on top of that, we have a player in our play group. Our play group is high powered. Okay. Whatever this list wants to be, it's not a CDH play group.
We are optimized.
But we are definitely an optimized play group, right? We have a player in our play group, and shout outs to you. You know exactly who you are, who definitely builds certain exhibition decks. You know, he built, remember his royalty deck, right? Where like everything had to be a king, a queen. It was like a story deck,
yeah,
right?
Even with his exhibition deck, because of our play group, it's still like a 3. Like,
yes. Exhibition doesn't, this bracket system, the reason why I think your spot that you're looking for is missing is because 1 shouldn't exist in this bracket.
Yeah, I think
1 and 2 should be combined into 1.
If you're having an issue playing against precons and you don't want to play against precons,
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You are in the weirdest commander meta that you might as well not even be playing commander.
Yeah, like this is it's weird to, like I said, it's weird to me to say that this deck was supposed to be something you had fun building, but you failed to make it. Larry, let me put another example. You love to work on your car. You love cars. You love building cars. I get that you're trying to make a fun, quirky car that makes people laugh and giggle. It still has to drive. It still has to function. You still have to be able to drive this thing for it to be considered a car. There are limitations to that. And I feel like the same thing applies here. You can't just like grab your bulk, throw it in a bag, and shake it around and be like, there's my deck.
I mean, you can.
But you get what I'm saying? Like,
it's not real. It's not realistic.
And we needed a bracket for it.
Yeah. So I think 1 and 2 should just be
1
merged.
Yeah, that should be 1.
3 is perfect.
3 is good where it is, but it would become 2 from us.
Right. It would become 2 because I think most people who play this game start at pre-con level.
Yes.
And I don't know anybody who goes downward.
Yeah, they don't go backwards. Oh my goodness, you're right. I'm so angry.
Unless you're just like, unless you're like really bad at building decks, that's the only thing that I can think about is that you could build something worse than a pre-con.
You didn't have anybody helping you. You didn't know what you were doing, and you were like,
maybe you tried to build you didn't want to buy a pre-con, you wanted to build something from scratch, and these are the cards you had. You're still at pre-con level. You're still going to play with pre-con. So, not to harp on it any further, 1 and 2 should just be fused into 1.
Yes.
3 is perfect. I think 3 and 5 are literally perfect.
Yeah, they make sense.
They make sense.
They make sense.
Now, 4, because I think the thing that we want to tackle is the objective or subjective, I'm a 7.
Yes.
And I think the best way to get rid of the I'm a 7 is to specifically split what is high power commander and what is I'm optimized. Because there's a difference between like I am optimized, because you can have an optimized deck, but like maybe you're playing really strong cards, but like it's just like good stuff.
Yeah, that would be a quote unquote high power commander.
I wouldn't consider that high power. You could just be like,
you think high power is above optimized?
Yeah, high power is definitely above optimized. So then
I'll use this. It's tomato. Doesn't matter which way we're putting it, right? So I agree with you. It's like you are now beyond upgrading. So per example, we'll just pick a precon and we'll keep using the same precon so it makes sense. So we'll use the Goif precon. Okay. So 2 and 1 is I just bought the Lagoif precon. I bought it, I opened it, I shuffled up, we're playing. That's a 1 or a 2. A 3 is the Lagoif's like graveyards. You don't know.
I added 10 to maybe 15 cards. There are no infinite combos.
I don't really know what I'm doing. I just know that it likes graveyards.
4 would be like, okay, this is a solid deck. You might have some infinite combos.
Yep.
You're probably not playing fast mana.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing all the Moxes, all the
Yep. No fast mana.
And I might be playing, like I'm playing tutors.
Yep.
They might not be the best tutors, but I'm still playing tutors.
And and like they said, it's kind of a mindset too. And I know I have card knowledge. I know what my combos are. I know what I'm hunting for. Like tutors become powerful because I now know what I need. So it's like, I agree with you. So now, like, that's a higher powered deck.
You no. This is optimized. This is optimized.
So then, what makes it become high power?
High power to me is okay. Like I'm playing. I might not be playing all the fast mana, but I'm playing like plenty of fast mana. I might not be playing all the best tutors, but I'm playing I'm playing tutors. This is like CEDH light, because even CEDH players
I get
can tell the difference between like
you've been in the game.
Deck, like certain decks, because of the commander, cannot be CEDH. Even if you build it in a way that is perfect. CEDH.
Yeah.
If I were to play Moldrotha is not a CEDH commander.
Yeah. She just can't fit the bill.
If I take out 6 cards from that deck, you think I can play optimized? That's insane.
I get what you're getting at. Like, I take out this small amount and it went from being like, okay, it's not CDH anymore. And it's like, you took out 6 cards. This deck is so well built that it's gonna win on turn. We'll just for ease, turn 3. It's gonna win on turn 3 every game. Like consistently.
Like if we're not able to interact.
Yeah.
Consistently.
And you're gonna tell me that that's not CDH.
It's not CDH, but it's definitely not like optimized casual.
Yeah.
Like, I try to build my decks the way like I can like specifically kill people on like uninteracted turn 7, turn 8.
I guess I see what you're saying. It's like, it's almost like it's like CDH needs to be not split, but I get what you're getting at. Like, per example, like you're playing ranked in a game and like you're now playing ranked, which means like it's no holds barred. You are playing the best cards in the game. You're trying, but you don't know all of the best cards, all of the best interactions, and you don't have all of them. You're still in the CDH realm, but you're not best in slot.
You might not specifically be trying to play like CEDH, but you are specifically like, this is like if we were to take like a really bad commander and like I built it to be the best that it could ever be.
It's mathematically correct. Yeah.
It can never be CEDH because of what it is, but it's definitely not optimized. I'm definitely not playing it with my like, my vehicle deck is optimized. I'm not light CEDH.
Yeah. Like my Krinko deck is optimized. Would I say that my Krinko deck could take on like a CEDH slicer? I'm probably dead before I even play Krinko. Like, I don't think you... Also, guys, CDH is like one of those terms. We've talked about this before. It's one of those terms that's like thrown around.
It's overused. It's sort of like woke.
Yeah. And you guys just need to understand the best way of putting it is like, you can be at a local race course and you're a really good driver. You are. You are not in the Indy 500 with Formula One cars. Like, I get it. You're a great driver and you have a really fast car. You're not in the world's fastest car with the best team. Like, that's supposed to be CEDH, is you go to a tournament and the card price doesn't matter. It is the most mana effective, cost efficient, most consistent, least countered. Like,
if we use the car example, because some people will like soup up their car.
Yeah.
And
they know what they're doing.
It might be the most optimized this car can be, but because it's this car, it's never going to be CEDH.
Your Camry, don't get me wrong, I know it's so funny. I'm just picking a random car. You could totally have a competition Camry that's like boosted, twin charge, it's built block, it's rocking thousands of horsepower. But you're right. It's never going to be a professional race car to a certain degree. You're never going to break that threshold. You just can't. You're the car can't do that. The deck can't do that. And I see what you're saying now. There's not a bracket for that in between to where it's like
we need, because this is where like the bug stomping comes into play.
Because that's what they wanted this to stop.
That's what they wanted to stop. And I think you have to split the difference there. So I think we're done harping on this. Just finally, our idea is that 1 and 2 need to be fused.
Yes.
3 is perfect. 4 needs to specifically be split.
Yes.
There needs to be a new 5 that is high power.
Yes.
Or if you want to call it CDH light or whatever.
Yeah.
High power is probably what you want to call it. And then we have CEDH.
So it would be 1 exhibition core, 2 you upgraded, 3 we'll just say it's optimized. 4 would then be low tier CEDH, and 5 would be
we just call it high powered because
4 is high powered and 5 is CEDH. I agree with you. 3 and 5 are perfect. And then lastly, how you feel about the game changers?
Game changers. I think they hit the mark on most of these. At first, when I looked at this naked, I sort of winced at some of these inclusions, but then I thought about it and I'm like, okay. The one that sort of bothers me
I think,
is Dranith Magistrate. I understand.
Oh, no. Dranith isn't one that's surprising to me. I see Dranith as a game changer.
I don't think it's a game changer. I think it's a speed bump.
It is a speed bump. I just think that a lot of newer players or just players that like large commanders.
I understand. I think because they added like things that people do not like to game changers, mass land destruction is something people do not like, but we don't have it here as a game changer.
Yeah, it's not listed anywhere.
But also these are cards they're thinking that might be banned or might just stay on this list. The only reason, and people say this all the time, Dranith Magistrate dies to removal.
Yes. No. I understand it's a 2-drop. People do not like it. The majority of players play removal. If you can't remove Dranith Magistrate. Oh, I know. The one, all right, so the one that also got me was Grand Arbiter. I felt the same way. Grand Arbiter, okay, he made your stuff cost 1 more mana. Ooh. You can literally play, there's like 30 artifacts that do the exact same thing as him.
I think the reason why Grand Arbiter is here, A, he could be your commander.
Yes.
B, he makes your stuff cheaper, so it accelerates
it speeds you up
and it
slows
decelerates everybody else.
But that's literally his only thing. That's what he does.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, that'd be like, Yuriko.
No.
She literally only does one thing.
Perfect example. You don't play Grand Arbiter on the turn he comes out, and then people take 10 damage. Okay? Yuriko can come out in the same turn we take 10 damage. Everyone. That's 40 damage or more, depending on the playgroup size.
Yeah, but I could also like hit a land. There is at least with Yuriko, if we want to have this fight, Yuriko at least has variance.
Yeah, there's a chance you can whiff. Like you can whiff with Yuriko.
And Yuriko is like cool. She's a ninja. So people might build this deck and it's not that Yuriko. If you put Grand Arbiter as your commander, you knew exactly what you're doing.
It's a stack stack. Yeah. It's a Hey Bear stack stack. I totally get Kennen and Winota. I totally get like Glacial Chasm. I get Underworld Breach. Like
the ones that I winced at was Dranith Magistrate. Like it can sit on the table and you're like, man, I wish I could be doing my thing, but I can't do my thing. And then eventually it gets removed. Or some people don't mind and it just sits on the battlefield for like 5 turns. Yeah. And people get pissed. Cool. I think like it's such a bad argument.
And Jezka's will, Underworld Breach, undisputed, 100%. Jezka's will, yes,
doesn't feel like it should be on here.
It shouldn't be on here. Like Larry's, it's powerful. I know you guys agree, but like,
I think the variance
you can
for how powerful this card is extremely drastic.
If it had a show and tell effect to where it was like you got those cards and then you could just dump them, yes, it's a game changer. You could draw into things you literally can't even play And what, you got 6 mana because you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Right, like
it can whiff
even
really hard.
Like the floor for Jessica's Will is really low.
Yes.
Like even like say I casted Jessica's Will and like it gave me like 5 mana and I exiled my 3 cards and they were like a mana dork, a land, and something else.
Yeah, like did this set you? Are you gonna win? Are you gonna win right now?
I don't think it's a game. Like I don't think it's a game changer.
Yeah, some of these, like I said, Larry's. You'll see this list, and they said it's tentative and it's a beta, so. The vicious scumbag will calm down. I get way too angry at some of these changes, but
yeah, you were salting out Turgrid. I understand people hate Turgrid, but
as a Turgrid deck builder and player, you play her once, do the thing one time, and then after that, no one ever lets you do it again.
Some people, like if you're, we have to remember this is to protect like 1 through 3, and we are not 1 through 3.
I know.
With that in mind, I can see why Drenith is on here because you don't want like it not being on this list and then somebody who's at like a power level 3
playing with 2s.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to say his deck was a 3, so he said it was a 2 to play with you.
Not even that. Like I'm playing a 3 in one of my upgrades, which is Drenith's Magistrate, just because.
Yeah.
Or like this is in my quirky advisor deck.
My goodness.
And Drenith Magistrate is my best advisor.
Yeah. Like I can see what they're trying to do. I get it. It's tentative and they're going to work around it. But
and I think there should be like more stuff on, like, even if you weren't going to ban it.
Yeah. Like, for example, the fact that red and green have 5 cards in total between the 2 of them.
I mean, red's a bad color.
No, I know, but like they're also not showing the land destruction on this page either. Like they don't count it. It is a card that they don't want, but it's not shown here. Bro, there are definitely some red cards.
Because land destruction is specifically mentioned as not being played 1 through 3.
I'm surprised.
So we have to keep that in mind.
I'm surprised Blast Act wasn't on here. Because Cyclonic Rift. No. I guess Cyclonic is because it's one-sided.
It's instant speed.
And it's instant speed, yeah. No, and red doesn't really have a version. Vandal Blast, it's not an instant, but I'm saying it's not. I'm just trying to think of their logic of a game changer. And I just feel like there's not a lot for red showing, and there are really powerful red cards.
No, there's not.
Valakut's Awakening, you don't think is good?
Not enough that I would be like, ooh.
It's like Jessica's. And Jessica's is on here.
I don't think Jessica should be on there.
I don't think Jessica should be on there either.
Like it's really Underworld Breach, and Underworld Breach is like broken.
It is. I don't dispute Underworld. And like for green, like I get Gaia's, you know what I mean? And I get Vorinclex and Survival of the Fittest.
I sort of Cornflakes, I'm like
he's powerful, and I get it's like the salt factor. I think
it's more. I think it's more salt, and somebody's gonna play this as their commander. And
same thing as Jin Cataxis. It's the same concept. He's just salty. He's not like Jin
Cataxis should not be here.
He's 10 mana.
You're gonna reanimate it, but I'm like,
but he still has some type of bar to keep you away from just cheating him out.
Yeah, like I don't think you're like
it's. Do you really expect that everyone's going to turn to him? You know what I mean? But if we use that logic, like, you're going to reanimate it. Oh my goodness. The amount of creatures that should be on this list then that we could, I accidentally reanimated it.
Jin should not be on
here.
No.
Vorinclex I get because a lot of people are salty about their lands. Don't touch my boats, but it's like the land edition. Yep. Land destruction. Dump my lands don't untap. Which actually brings me to that. And colorless. Oh my goodness. Where's the Winter Orb? Where are those cards to where you can just destroy the game?
Remember, those are what do they call it? mass land denial. All the cards that you're thinking about, you have to remember, are covered under
they're considered
mass land denial.
Oh, so like Winter Orb is in that category.
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, when I heard land, I was thinking of just...
It's not just destruction. It's you not being able to untap them not being able to tap for the color that they're supposed to tap for.
So in theory, Vorinclex is a...
Yeah, that's what I think.
Vorinclex kind of makes sense then, because that makes him a land thingy.
I think he shouldn't be on here because you're already stipulating
that you can't do land
that
stuff.
You can't do that.
Yeah. No, that's what I was getting at. Like, he shouldn't be on the Game Changers, but he would be in the land list.
Yeah, he should be on this list.
Oh, my goodness.
This double dipped. So let's talk about the roadmap. We bored you with what we think. It says here we want to leave you all with a better understanding of what we're doing next and about when it will happen. That way you can better anticipate updates. So we're going to give you a transparent look behind the curtains. First step for you to try and for us to hear your thoughts. I'm sure we'll start hearing feedback quickly, and we're excited to see a bunch of people trying this in person at MagicCon Chicago, blah, 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 blah. Provided this system generally works and is heading in the right direction, we'll begin making revisions after MagicCon for any structural changes we want to include. Then with the information of how that all went in mind, we'll begin discussing any potential unbans.
Yes, please.
And the Game Changers list as a tool, we can potentially unban cards and add them to the list to keep them available at higher brackets. I do like that. That's cool.
I do too.
The goal here, provided the system works, will be to come back with one big article in late April.
Okay. That
both rolls out the future system and unbans all together. And as we said back in October, no bans will be happening at that time. Just potentially some unbans. That's cool. So if you're eager to hear about the unbans, late April is the date to circle your calendar. And if anything changes in the timeline, we'll let you know. This is the schedule. Of course, contingent on the system working.
I like the fact that they're talking about the fact that they're going to test this at a actual Magic event. I like this. So they're going to get actual in-person feedback. I remember when they were having their conference talking about these changes. Remember they were saying they didn't have enough info on stuff and it made them feel good that they were, they didn't feel good because they didn't have the same, constructed, judged, tournament style, data that they're after. So this is good. And I agree with you, that potential unban, but then possibly keeping them just in a higher bracket, but they're not completely banned. I like that. I like this being, like I said, worked on. This looks super good.
So we do have the Commander format panel. There's some people in here that I do not know. Oh, a lot of people I do not know. I know who Attack on Cardboard is. I know who Benjamin Wheeler is. Daquan Watson, I think that's Power Dragon.
Oh, very nice. Hey, Josh Lee.
Josh Lee Kwai. Maybe I know who Kristen Gregory is. Maybe I don't. Lewis Stardust, I know who she is. Olivia Gilbert Hicks. Rachel Weeks. Rebel Lily.
I'm glad to see that there are some good names on this list that I agree that I know of that I feel like have a good sense. This looks like it's a good panel in the making. I'm surprised to see this. I thought the whole name thing was kind of part of the whole problem. Wasn't that the whole thing?
Oh, I don't think they expect
death threats.
Death threats.
Well, hopefully not so. And if you guys are that bad, you're throwing death threats over Magic cards.
Bro, stop playing Magic.
I know.
Go play Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. They like death threats over there.
Please. I cannot believe.
Literally, Yu-Gi would send you to the Shadow Realm, which means you were going to die. Is there any other information? Oh.
They do a breakdown explaining each of the cards as to why they consider them into their things. So, like, for example, they talk about Grand Arbiter, you know.
Yeah, we see that.
Yeah. It's kind of, they pretty much talk about what we're talking about here.
Yeah, but you're double dipping, and this wouldn't end up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't make any sense to me.
And, I mean, honestly.
Haha, I was right. A prime card to cheat out or reanimate.
And they talked about what you're talking about here. Why are there 5 brackets? Doesn't it kind of boil down into 3? They talked about that as well.
Yeah, they definitely need to change.
But seeing this lets me know that they understand that there are things that they're working around. And I like this. And honestly, this shows progression. Like, just plain and simple.
This is more transparency that we ever got.
Ever. Like, I like this. It doesn't feel like they were just like, Dockside's banned. And you're like, wait, what? Like, why? Like, this would more feel like, hey, I think Dockside is a game changer. And you're like, oh, okay. I can still run it in my 4s and my CDH decks, and I could maybe run it in an upgraded, it's my 1 upgrade, right? But then, like, they might ban Dockside, right? Like, yeah.
Holding it close to the chest.
Yeah, hold it close to the chest. And then it gives you, and then if they did ban it, it's not like you were like, I can't believe they banned Dockside. Like, you kind of knew they were. They already put it in the list of like, hey, these are cards that we don't really want to see outside of 4s and higher. Like, this shouldn't exist outside of that. I do like that. I like it. And then the idea of it being like, hey, for example, because Dockside was banned. Let's unban Dockside, but it's only playable in 4s and CEDH. Like, if it's not in that format, it's banned. And you are now immediately a 4 if it's in your deck. Just that simple. This is a card that will instantly make you a 4. And then that way that's the rule 0 conversation, just plain and simple. You don't have to worry about a quote unquote ban list in the same capacity. I like it. I do. It makes it to where there's a soft ban. They can make a like meta, if you will.
Yeah, I think all of this was just like,
it's all really
let's
good.
recontextualize the things that are salty. Let's recontextualize the things that are like soft ban.
Yes.
And let's split players in brackets. So, if you decide to play your precon against 4s, hey, bro, you can't complain about it.
And then at the same time, if you go take your decks to the local game shop and you don't want to wreck a bunch of noobs and make them hate the game. So, no, it should hopefully stop it.
Now, if you say you're a 7, people going to be looking at you like,
what is that? CDH is 5. You're 2 above CDH. Oh man, I can smell them from here.
I win 100% of the games I play.
I win the games I don't even play.
What's your deck called? Blick.
It's called Blick. And it makes me take all your cards, including your card keys.
All right, so that's our thoughts. I am your honorable sensei, and across from me,
the vicious scumbag.
And together we are Long